Hey guys, Hummo back again. It's been 39 days of me using the Google Pixel 7a, and overall, it's just okay. I don't love it, and I don't hate it. Battery life is still terrible. It is still a fast phone, takes great photos, and I feel like every day my battery is just getting worse and worse. When I wake up at 6 a.m., pull down the notification shade, I will see that it usually lasts until 3 p.m. Later on, I start seeing 2 p.m., and now I'm approaching the 1 p.m. mark, so that tells me that the average battery life is 7 to 9 hours. Luckily, I do have a spare S20 around, but not everyone have that luxury. So whenever I leave my phone there to charge, it needs at least an hour or so to get a good boost. But if I'm using the Pixel 7a and charging it at the same time, it will never reach 100%, unfortunately. So that still remains one of the biggest downfalls of this phone. In terms of day 39, I spend every morning recording videos like these. In the last video, I switched to 4K mode, and I did notice a pretty significant difference I didn't think I would. But in my previous 30 days, I've been recording in Full HD, but now I did turn on the 4K. I'll probably just stick with it for now. The quality does look a lot better, which is currently what I'm using right now. It just looks a little bit sharper, brighter. Editing wasn't too bad, so I would just stick with the 4K. And the video file wasn't too large either, at least not as large as I was expecting. And in addition to that, all this time, over the last few weeks, I've been using this mic, Zen Zero Sound, that I bought on Amazon, and it is connected to the Pixel 7a. And all this time, I thought I was using the mic, but once you plug in an external mic on the Google Pixel 7a, you actually have to go into the settings for the camera setting, hit the drop down, and switch it over to the mic. It doesn't switch automatically, which is a little annoying. If I'm plugging in the microphone, of course I want to use it. Why do I have to go in and select it every time? So little things with that, with the Pixel, it gets a little annoying. I wish I could just remember my settings, what I used previously, instead of me having to pick that every time. I know I'm just nitpicking there, and not a lot of people are connecting their phone to a mic to record videos every day. We'll see how much better this quality sound. And in general, all my videos I just record from the Google Pixel 7a, and then I would extract the audio using one of my video program, and then once I get the audio, I would just upload it into Adobe Podcast AI, and it just makes the quality sound so much better. It filters out all the noise. Every time my chair squeak, every time I hit my keyboard or click on my mouse, all those noises are filtered out, which is pretty nice. When an airplane fly by, a garbage truck comes by, you don't hear any noise in the background. So if you guys do any video or audio editing, I would recommend Adobe Podcast AI. It is a free tool for now, but who knows, it might charge you later. But since it's free, just take advantage of it while you can. On a typical day when I have time and I go on my walk, I like to snap a few photos, record short videos if I see something cool. And I noticed in the camera setting, the Google Pixel 7a long exposure is available as one of the camera options. This was in the Google Pixel 7 as well, but I remember when I was using the 7, that mode was in beta. It looks like now it is in prime time since it's in the main camera settings, and I do not see the beta tag near it. In the past, when I used it, I could never get the photo that I want from taking pictures of cars and getting that cool effect, but I think water works fine. Essentially what it does, it just creates a long blurry effect. So I decided to give it a try, snap a picture of this little waterfall thing, and here it is in the long exposure mode. So overall, still pretty happy with the camera. The phone itself is still fast and responsive if you're doing one thing at a time. If you launch too many apps at once, you play any games, switching to camera, switching to Snapchat, you might have the recording app on. It does tend to struggle once you start to launch too many apps and make it do too many things at the same time. I know most people probably wouldn't do that. For me, I do it unintentionally, I guess. Sometimes I'm just switching between apps, like on YouTube playing in the background. And I do notice an occasional stutter here and there, specifically on Snapchat. Sometimes I can't post certain things. It just doesn't give me an option to send it after I record a quick Snapchat video. Whether it's a Snapchat issue or a Tensor G2 issue, who knows, but it is still a random hiccup that I do want to point out here and there, which I do notice. I haven't experienced any connection issues over the last 3 days, which is great. Since the new update, I stopped using VPN. I had a couple frustrating days where my internet would just drop from me using hotspot and just using it normally. Haven't experienced it since then, but I'll keep you guys updated if anything changes. But it was definitely super annoying to have to deal with that over a couple days, and I had to restart my phone every single time to fix the connection issues. And here are a couple tips and tricks that I've found I think it's helpful for me to share with you guys on the Google Pixel 7a. I know you can probably Google tips and tricks and we'll find like 100 of them. There's so many videos out there, but I find it overwhelming when you see so many tips and tricks at once. I end up not using any of them. So today I'm just going to focus on a couple that stood out to me that is short, helpful, easier to digest, hope can find a way to incorporate it in your everyday life. Because once you look up 100 tips, you're not going to use 100 all at once. So I'm just going to call out a few. First of all, just a call screening. I do find that it to be pretty helpful. I do get spam calls here and there, and I just click on the call screening. And for the most part, it saves me time picking up the phone, getting annoyed, yelling at the other person or a robot, then they'll just hang up on me. So there are a few times I did get a call, I just hit the call screening button, and then they just hang up. I mean, it works for me, saves me time saying hello. So nice little feature there that Google have built in, and this is standard with all the Pixel series. Immersive View is a new feature that I recently found out. Immersive View is pretty cool. If you select a popular place around the world like Rome or the Eiffel Tower, you can actually go in and look out, kind of zoom in, zoom out, walk around a certain area so you can get a good view there. So it's not specifically just you walking around the street, you can actually see the actual popular attraction. You can pretty much spin it around. You can also look at the time, the weather. So this is helpful when you're planning a trip or you're already in the area the day of. You want to see what the area look like under certain lighting. That's pretty cool. You can drag the time back and forth. If it's raining, you can see what it's gonna look like. And I think it's a neat little feature. Too bad I'm not traveling anytime soon, but if I am, I think it's a little neat. I mean, you can always look at photos, but I think the immersive view is kind of cool when you're spinning it around and get to interact with it a little bit more. Some of the downfall with this features is not available everywhere. I just thought of a few popular places off the top of my head. I've already been to Rome, never been to the Eiffel Tower, so I decided to go over there, spin it around for a little bit. Then I tried to look at some location in Vietnam, Batna Hills, and also the landmark tower. So those weren't available. Blue Lagoon in Iceland is pretty nice as well. I've been there before, decided to check it out again, but this feature wasn't available. And I noticed even going back to Rome and the Eiffel Tower when walking around is the immersive view is kind of hard to turn and just spin the finger, pinching in and out. It's just not as intuitive. I don't know. Feel like it doesn't interact as smoothly or the way that I want. So it's just something I want to point out. Maybe you play around with it more, you can get better sense of the control. But for me, I was struggling just to tap around, and sometimes I move 2-3 blocks away and then I gotta come back, and just a tad challenging. Another feature I decided to turn on is the face unlock to skip screen. You have to go into the lock screen and toggle this on. And essentially what it does, once it recognizes your face, it will just automatically unlock the phone right away. So it saves you an extra step of swiping. Avoid recognizing your face and you have to swipe again to unlock. Some people like that extra step. I personally just prefer to unlock right away, go straight to the home screen. But you're concerned about privacy, people looking at your screen, everything like that, leave it off. Me personally, I like the quick, seamless, fast unlock, because I notice when I have to swipe it, sometimes I see the fingerprint sensor. It already recognized that my face is already unlocked, so I can swipe anywhere to unlock, but sometimes I don't realize it or forget, so I have to go and press the fingerprint sensor. So if you turn on this function, it will just automatically unlock if it recognizes your face, and for whatever reason it don't, and you can use the fingerprint sensor there. So it's just a little convenient step that is not on by default, so I have to go in on top of that. And in the recent app menu, there's some small little hidden features in there. You can actually select text, which is pretty neat if you're browsing the web, or if you're looking at a picture, you want to grab a text from that, you can just bring up the recent menu and then you can select text from that. And in addition to that, certain pictures, they give you an option to save it. You see this little gallery thing, you just tap on that and it will save the picture. I know Apple have something similar where you can like drag certain photo, drop an iMessage. I don't think this is as sophisticated, but it's a cool way to extract photos from certain areas. Remember back then, it was easier to save photos if you could just do like a Google search, or basically steal photos from anywhere on the web. But I'm pretty sure Google got a lot of copyright complaints. Now they make it a little bit more challenging to actually save the photo. I guess you can always screenshot it and there are ways around it, but I guess Google is just doing what they can to not get sued and make it a little bit harder for you to save photos normally, but it is kind of hidden there. You can screen grab that way and save a photo. So, hope you find those little tricks to be helpful. Overall, I'm still pretty happy with the Google Pixel 7a. It's a great phone for the price. If you can get it under $500, I would still recommend it for anyone looking for a new mid-range phone and don't want to spend $500 to $1,000. If you can get it $400 or $450, I think it's a great price for what it is. Alright guys, this wraps up day 39. Remember to like and subscribe. Please leave a comment below and let me know if you find these videos to be helpful. I'll keep pumping them out for as long as I can until I get my Razer phone. Please check out day 38 if you haven't already. And see you guys in the next video.